Mr. Streeting has started to set out his stall, and he chose the ground on which he wants to fight. He has said straight away that he thinks that this country, should one day be back in the EU. Is that the right grounds on which to fight? And do you agree with that aim?
Well, I like and respect Wes a lot, and I listened carefully to what he had to say yesterday. I think, I have a different perspective on this than we do as a government. The government that he was part of until recently has been trying to take a far more pragmatic approach to bringing us closer to Europe and repairing some of the damage that was done from a poor Brexit deal to people's living standards in parts of the country like mine, rather than reopening the Brexit wars and going back again round that track.
Do you think he's wrong to make this pitch to rejoin the EU?
Well, I just think it's a bit odd, if I'm honest, because essentially if rejoining the EU is the answer to what we were just told loud and clear by the country, and, parts of the country like mine, where 25 out of 25, we lost 25 out of 25 wards, 24 of them to reform. If rejoining the EU is the answer, then essentially what we're saying to people is life was fine in 2015, we just need to go back there. I know Wes is coming up to campaign in the by-election quite soon. He will hear loud and clear from people in places like Wigan, Ashton, Winstanley, across Makerfield, that is absolutely not the case. And the answer has to be bigger. It has to be the sort of things this government is focusing on around good jobs, housing, living standards, costs of energy, opportunities for young people.
And
that's why the Prime Minister is right to say we need to get on with it.
You give the same advice to Mr. Burnham. Let's not get back onto that whole Brexit Remain train. Let's focus on other things.
Well, Andy's got to speak for himself, as has Wes, and, frankly, I'm not here to be a spokesperson for whichever man offers an opinion on politics in the Labour Party. But what I would say is that I've heard a lot from Andy and seen a lot in terms of what he's doing as Mayor of Greater Manchester that is squarely focused on people's living standards, on public transport, on good jobs and growth that people can really feel the benefit of. And I think that's exactly where we need to be as a party.
Both Wes Streeting and, to some extent, Andy Burnham said yesterday that the Labour Party under their leadership would move closer to the EU. In fact, Wes Streeting said at some point he wants to be back in the EU. How do you respond?
This is exactly what I'm talking about. The country wants us to make the best of Brexit, make the best of leaving the EU. The idea of starting again, going backwards, having all of these negotiations, this is a sign of a Labour Party that does not have a plan for the country. So they want to go back and refight wars which were settled a long time ago. And I'm saying that we're the only ones who have a plan making the best of leaving the EU.
You guys had 8 years to make the best of Brexit, and
that's not true.
You made a pretty hash of it to the extent that more than a majority of the population now think that Brexit was a bad decision. I completely
disagree. We left the European Union in January 2020. That's not even 8 years ago, let alone when we lost the election.
Yeah, but since 2016.
No, I wasn't even an MP then. I wasn't an MP when we voted to leave the European Union. I came in after that. The point I'm making is that things like scrapping green taxes off our energy bills, scrapping VAT off our energy bills. You can't do that if you're in the EU. We have an advantage over other countries when it comes to jet fuel and the rules around refuelling while we're having this fuel price shock because we're not in the EU. We should be using the advantages of it, not going back to the past, rehashing this argument. It's not going to be as simple as walking through a door. It's going to be years more of negotiations, years more of the country not being governed. These people do not have a plan for the country. They're just throwing this out there.